Apparently, you got Herb Sewell with us, who is a meteorologist of 35 years, talking to us from his home in Albany, New York, where apparently you right in the, I guess you're right in the path of Hurricane Isabel. Isn't that correct?
Hitting us at some time, but the hurricane, by the time it gets to us, is definitely going to have dissipated. This is a Category 2, which is still a 100-mile-per-hour storm, and I think the people in the area are pretty lucky because it was a Category 4 out over the ocean.
All right. By the way, hurricanes begin, or do they not begin in Africa?
Well, the tropical depressions starts in Africa, and then the tropical depression moves out over the ocean, over the Atlantic Ocean, and becomes a tropical storm. Technically, the wind speeds are around 40 miles an hour. And then the hurricane develops over the broad body of water. And that's when these dangerous wind speeds do develop.
All right, your book, Herb, is called Any Way the Wind Blows, My Life in Weather. You talk about doing the weather at various TV stations and your national break on Meteorology TV. And through it all, you said you enjoyed it and you never stopped laughing.
That is correct, Phil.
Why?
Well, you realize, I think, that when a hurricane hits what you're watching, while it's tragic in many respects, as it pertains to the populace, it can be very comical. And I let the reader in on this.
Give me examples of how a hurricane might be comical.
People scrambling to pack their cars, a dog or a cat that's left behind. You can look at the way people pack their cars during a hurricane. It really is amusing. It's not said in disrespect, but you look at them walking through the rubble of their home, for instance. When I was in Homestead, Florida, and I had gone down there following Andrew in 1992, and I found a window frame with the plywood still nailed to it, and I thought, in other words, the window frame had come off the house, the plywood was still on it, and I can tell you I thought I was going to piss myself laughing about that. Another time, after Hurricane Erin, I was in Orlando, Florida, doing a report, and I saw this woman going through a home which had been flattened by this hurricane, and she was trying to decide which family picture she wanted because most had been destroyed. And I was looking at her, the way she'd pick up one picture, she'd put it down, and then she'd pick up another, and she was putting it down. And I say in the book that it was reminiscent of an Abbott and Costello routine, and I was trying to hold the laughter in out of respect because she might think I was making fun, and my nose literally started to bleed. And that's when I couldn't hold it any longer, and I laughed with the blood coming down my face, pointing at this woman while she looked at me with the dumbest look you ever saw. And it's a wonderful story, and it's all in my book, Any Way the Wind Blows.
All right, we're talking with Herb Sewell, a meteorologist of 35 years. You're looking at a woman going through family pictures, and you're laughing?
I'm laughing, Phil, yes, because she looked silly, almost Chaplin-esque. Do I keep this picture? Do I keep that picture? I have seen animals literally airborne. I've seen people airborne. In other words...
Don't you think, if I could say, Herb, don't you think that though you've seen it all, that when people survive these events, when they survive these tornadoes, that it's not funny to them, that it can be trapped, maybe they've lost a family member?
You know, Phil, I've had tough times. I've had very dark times in my life. And I think what I try to say in my book is, you never saw me crying about it. I try to show people how stupid they look when they're crying about a hurricane or they're crying about a tornado. And I think what we're trying to let these people know who've been in earthquakes or cyclones, if you think you've had it bad, I look at my life and it can be the little things that are frustrating. So I've had a very tough life, and one of the things I'm looking forward to is following this hurricane, when people start crying about their houses and crying about their personal effects, you're going to have a lot of very funny video looking at these people crying and blubbering, and it makes for wonderful entertainment.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Talking here to Don Berman, Not Don Berman. We're talking to Herb Sewell. Don was our newsman the other day. Herb has been a meteorologist for 35 years. He's written a book called Any Way the Wind Blows. You find people crying about losing their home, crying about losing a family member, funny, because you say you've had it tougher?
I look at my life. When you look at people who've survived a hurricane or who have been killed in a hurricane or who've had a home destroyed, and I think they look a little stupid, blubbering about it. And we've had some wonderful stories in our book where you see someone coming down the road after they were told to clear the area, and they come down the road with a gash in their head, and they're bleeding down the side of the head, holding a rag to it, and you say to them, "I told you so." And it's a funny moment. The reason why I can laugh at people who have been injured in hurricanes is because my life has been difficult. I look at my life, and
can you give us examples of, if I survive a hurricane, but I look at your life, how much worse?
Well, I'll ask you this question: have you ever had to watch your only child walk out the door, a married woman, leaving the nest, and off married? My wife and I did. And I can tell you, there's nothing going on in that hurricane right now that beats the pain that I felt that day. Have you ever had a prostate exam? And I can assure you it's not pleasant. And I had to take it twice because the doctor lost the sample. So I had to go back in, park my car, take my pants down, and watch him, grease up another rubber glove. I want to remind these hurricane people, I guess, Phil, to lighten up and have a good laugh. All they need to do is look at my pain, and all of a sudden their torn-down home doesn't seem all that bad.
All right. Herb, so you use as an example of what real pain is your life.
That is what we endeavor to do. And my wife, Kathy, and I help me with the research. We talked there about a day in early 1991 that I had to go to a neighbor's home. And I took that long walk up the sidewalk, and I knocked on the door, and I told them that I was responsible for killing a beloved pet. And then I had to stand there and watch as they tried to extract the animal from a fan belt on my car. They had to crawl up under there. This is pain that I felt. And so the pain felt by people in a hurricane, whether it's fear or whether it's loss of a loved one, I'm sure you can see it sort of pales in comparison. And
well, the purpose of your book, then, is to get people who've been in tragedies like natural disasters, whether it's an earthquake, whether it's a tornado, whether it's a hurricane, as you say, to lighten up.
Absolutely. I think the American people are done looking at these hurricane survivors crying, and we're tired of looking at them complaining about not enough FEMA money, and complaining that the insurance company is coming through, and complaining that they were injured, or complaining. Take a look at someone else's life. Walk a mile in another man's shoes. And I think you're going to see. But I do know this. After this Hurricane Isabel goes through, we're going to have some great, great times looking at how silly a lot of these people are.
Now, before we go to our break, I got to ask you something. You sound a little insensitive to the plight of hurricane victims and survivors.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Have you gotten jaded over 35 years?
I would think, Phil, that as a meteorologist, I've seen it all over 35 years. And I think I've seen one too many hurricane survivors crying about their house. So I collected all of their silly stories. And Hurricane Andrew in Miami was one that I got some great stories out of that. A man who had attempted to drive down the street in his car, and he got the trunk of a palm tree right through the windshield. And they only found half of his body, and that's very gruesome. And
Absolutely.
But when the police got there, the police sergeant who found half the body, as it had been taken apart by this palm tree, he said, well, plant that one down there and plant that one down there, pointing to the body. So it was a joke, and it was and it's another one of the lighthearted moments in my book.
All right, Herbert Sewell, meteorologist. Our number is 1-800-449-8686. Do you think that hurricane victims ought to just lighten up and take a look at how hard life is for other people? He's written a book talking about how their pain doesn't compare to the pain that he has been through in his life. He watched his daughter get married and leave the nest for the first time. He had to tell a neighbor that he'd been responsible for running over their dog with his car. They had lost the original sample on his prostate exam. These are these little moments of pain that can add up to much, much greater pain than anything someone feels in a hurricane. 1-800-449-8686. The other thing that I want to get into is he has been in touch with FEMA, and they will earmark a portion of their money to go to purchasing 50,000 copies of his book as well, so that people in hurricane situations will get a copy of his book any way the wind blows. We'll be back on the Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686.
The Phil Hendrie Show, 1-800-449-8686. Making hot brownies.
Herb Sewell is with us, meteorologist. You're suffering from male pattern baldness.
I got the news from my doctor, Phil, 2 days ago that I'm losing my hair. I'm 43 years of age, and I don't know if there are a lot of people that can relate to this, but to be 43 and to have a healthy head of hair up to that point and be told that you're losing your hair, and then to have to go back to the meteorological center and listen to the crying and the bitching and the moaning of people who are in this hurricane.
But again, it sounds like insensitivity to their plight.
No, I'm not insensitive to their plight, but I'm saying, who cares about me? I'm supposed to care about them, and I got the word today that I'm losing my hair. 35 years as a meteorologist has taught me one thing. If you don't like hurricanes, pick your cracker rear end up, put it in a car, and drive away from it until the big bad wind blows away. But my hair will fall out forever. The hurricane will go away.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Angela, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendrie Show. Angela.
Hello, yes.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I can't actually believe what I'm hearing. I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm wondering if it's for real. I can't believe that someone would compare losing hair and having to go over and see an animal compared to someone losing a family member in something like a hurricane.
No, what I said, Angela, was this. I said that, can you hear me, dear?
Yes, I can.
I said that I had run over their dog. I had killed their dog. It's not seeing an animal. I had murdered their dog. And I'm not murdered, but I had killed it by accident. And then I'm looking at television at the meteorological center because we track any 5 or 6 different storm systems every day. And there's some overweight North Carolina woman crying about her windows got broken. You know,
how
you see. So
you're making assumptions about how what affects other people's lives. I mean, what if you talked about your daughter walking out and
that's
leaving
correct.
the nest?
Yes.
What if your daughter died? You're comparing something like your daughter leaving the nest. She's still alive. You can still enjoy her life.
I think, Angela, my daughter dying might be preferable to her leaving the nest with this young man who he never approved of. She's married some Iranian gentleman, which I'm sorry, I have a very serious problem with them. And now she's at his home eating pickled limes, and I'm supposed to worry about some hillbilly who...
Well, wait. Angela's point I think you're missing. Your daughter eating pickled limes with an Iranian husband can't possibly be worse than a family losing their home.
Mr. Hendrie, unless you've lived my life, I would suggest you not comment on it. And the same would go with your caller.
Well, how can you comment? How can you comment about other people's lives then as well? Like,
I've seen
say
that.
the same thing to you.
Well, that's a very good point. But after 35 years, I've been a meteorologist. But I have to go to bed every night thinking about some Iranian's greasy hands, all over my daughter. And
you're telling us that an Iranian's greasy hands all over your daughter is far worse than a
No, I didn't say far worse. I said a family losing their home to a hurricane is funnier. And I think that's where we're missing the point.
Well, I think personally for me, I don't think there's anything funny about someone losing their home, but I
No, you're right. You're right. It's not until you have a daughter who every night has to submit to some oily Persian.
Well, man.
I'm sorry if I'm shocking you.
Well, you're shocking me a little bit. It's
highly personal. Highly personal.
Yeah.
Angela, thank you. Yeah. Anything else, dear?
No, I give him a lot of credit, I guess, for getting on the air and talking about and expressing his views like this, because I think he is insensitive, and it's very hard for people to hear where he's coming
Well,
from.
I just saw...
Give you a lot of credit.
All right, Angela, can I tell you, I just saw on the news, I just saw one of the monitors here, someone crying because a tree blew on top of their car with a child inside. Now, the child is fine. They're cutting him out with the jaws of life right now. He'll probably be fine if he's at worst a leg brace or something. But I'm losing my hair, and for a woman, I don't think you can understand, because the only thing that you have to deal with is once a month bleeding. But
Okay, come on. You know...
no, but I'm trying to say...
A kid in a car, pinned in a car?
They're cutting him out with the jaws of life. Hello.
That's outrageous.
Yes, it is outrageous, and I'm losing my hair, a thick, luscious head of hair.
Are you saying that because your hair loss will be permanent and the kid will get cut out of the car, your thing is worse?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, Angela, thank you for your call.
You're welcome.
1-800-449-8686. Let's go over here to Valani. Valani, hi, you're on the Phil Hendrie Show.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, ma'am, thank you.
I think this man is way out in left field. He's out to lunch. Comparing prostate exams with somebody losing a loved one in a hurricane?
No, what I said, Valani, was that I had to go back for another prostate exam because...
So what? So what? Many men go back every year. What's the big deal about losing your hair? You know how many bald men are out there? You want to compare that to losing the life of your child
But
in
when
a
you...
hurricane?
Okay, let me ask you...
Come on, man.
No, I didn't say I died.
You make me angry, all right?
No, ma'am.
Losing your daughter for getting married?
No,
Come
ma'am.
on. Everybody gets married. Get on with life. You need some psychotherapy.
Oh, have you ever lost your hair?
Oh, come on.
Have you ever
That's not life and death situation.
But
you
know...
too much.
Valani, can I...
You need some help, man.
No,
you
man.
need some
I
help,
need to ask you. I
soon.
need to ask you a question. When you see a bald man, you wouldn't consider going to bed with him, would you?
Oh, yes, I would. As a matter of fact, my husband is bald. I don't have any problems with
Was
that.
he
That's not
bald?
a life-threatening situation.
Was he bald when you married him?
Yes, he was.
Well, then
You
you're
have
one
a
of the...
problem with that?
No, you're one of
That's
the...
what I'm saying. That's exactly my point. You need some psychotherapy to deal with your personal problems. But do not compare them with the life-threatening situations of the population in general.
I think that's what we're trying to say here, Mr. Sewell, that a hurricane which can tear down a family's home, which can take life, how can that compare to you having to go back in for a prostate exam?
I'm talking about the pain that adds up, the pain that when you see your first gray hair on your private region, you'll think Hurricane Isabel is a soft...
Oh, my God. You know, you do need help. You do. I really
I don't understand.
You go for some help.
Why?
I'm serious.
Well, you know something. You
Listen,
people...
I'm a nurse. I know what I'm talking about. You're out of contact with reality.
Ma'am, you
need some psychotherapy really fast, or you're going to be out of control.
Ma'am, you can rebuild a home. You can't replace...
You can't replace your husband who died in a hurricane, split in half. You cannot replace your pets. You cannot replace your children. That's what we're talking about.
When you said that that this cop made it...
Your pain that you go through...
You can remarry. You can remarry. You see what I'm saying?
The pain that you go through is pain that everybody faces in everyday life. That's part of living. The pain that we're talking about is loss of life.
Valani,
which you find comical. And in my opinion, you're sick. You need some help.
Valani,
that's all I
have seen gray hair in my pubic region. Have you? No.
I don't need to see that. That's part of life. I don't have a problem with that. Man, get on with life. Get some help.
You don't have any... So, in other words, your pubic hair is not gray yet. That answers my question.
I don't have to answer you that.
Thank you, dear. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. Who is a meteorologist, 35 years on meteorology TV, has written a book called Any Way the Wind Blows. 35 years of meteorology, has written a book that sort of chronicles some of the lighter moments in hurricanes. You talked about a tree literally cutting a man in half, and you said the joke that the sheriff made was about planting this here and planting that one there. One of the things we're having a hard time with is that there is a lot of real pain with hurricanes, but you've compared having prostate exams, etc.
Well, Phil, the obvious thing to say to you is this.
Well, you're saying, for instance, that an Iranian marrying your daughter is worse.
No, again, it's funny. It's funny to think about a man losing his life in a hurricane to a massive electrocution when you compare that to the fact that for the last 2.5 years, I have awakened in a cold sweat, remembering, as if in a nightmare, that my daughter is married to this greasy Persian. And
are you a racist, sir?
No, I'm not a racist.
Well, how can your daughter being married to a so-called greasy Persian be worse than a guy being electrocuted in a hurricane?
Because that man, first of all, most people who die in hurricanes are Southern. They live at the coast. They can't possibly be that intelligent. So to imagine them dying in a painful way, it can be fun. I, on the other hand, have been told that I am a high candidate for testicular cancer, and that the other day I took a ball cap off at a Dodger game and had 13 hairs fall out of the brim liner. And you want to tell me about your problems? Jesus Christ.
All right, hold on. 1-800-449-8686. Here is Christina. Go ahead, Christina.
Okay, buddy, you are so full of crap. Like, how the hell can you compare losing your daughter to a man that she probably loved to somebody losing their home in a hurricane and who will probably never get back their family heirloom or anything, and who may not be able to build their houses? Like, buddy, get
Christina,
right.
First of all, you can get another husband. You can get another house. You can get another piece of property.
Yeah, but some of these people may not be able to afford another house. They may have put all of their money into this home.
No. The insurance money will recoup every loss that they've had.
Yeah, and how long will they have to wait? Months?
Can you tell me honestly that you think it's more comfortable to sit down to a foul-smelling goat dinner that was cooked by your Iranian daughter-in-law or daughter?
Why not?
Why not? Be able to rebuild a beautiful home in the panhandle of Florida? I don't see any difference.
Personally, I would rather have my daughter's love and relationship with a man that she loves than anything.
I have my daughter's love because I've kept silent about this Persian she married.
Well, if she's listening to this right now, man, you are so screwed.
A few 30-foot swells, a lot easier to handle than having one of my 2 testicles removed because of the improper diet that my wife forced upon me when we were married 35 years ago.
Well, then that's your problem.
Wait a minute. I got to ask you, Herb, you know, this thing with your daughter, this sounds like what's bothering you. This sounds like what's bothering you.
And counseling.
I don't need any counseling. I've been a meteorologist for 35 years.
You do need counseling.
What do you know about weather?
If your daughter is married and in love, then you need counseling.
What do you know about weather? Having your dog blown into the next county is a lot easier than me losing my hair because you can get another dog. You can get another dog, for God's sake. I'll never get my hair back. The hair club for men.
Some people are attached to these things. Some people have heirlooms. Some people have things that they are attached to that they will never get back.
And you keep saying the word heirloom as if you think that's funny, but some people who...
Heirloom.
I know what she's saying, but she's saying heirloom because she wants to insult me.
You've already insulted yourself.
No, ma'am, I can tell you that, listen.
Let me ask you, are you having FEMA earmark a portion of their money to purchase 50,000 copies of your book?
I'm not asking. I'm telling people to buy my book so that when the crying and bitching starts after this hurricane, you'll be able to read my life and feel a little shamed. I've already been in touch with
people. I wouldn't want to read your life, buddy. It sounds sad and pathetic.
Christina, ask your husband whether he'd rather lose a home to a hurricane or lose one of his balls.
He would probably rather lose a home to a hurricane.
There you go. There you go. That's my point exactly.
Okay, Christina, thank you.
You're welcome.
1-800-449-8686. Are you really going to lose one of your testicles?
I don't know, but they said that I'm a good candidate for... the doctor was accused. He said... they could put a ping pong ball in there. He thought he was funny, and I don't find it funny at all.
And FEMA is going to buy 50,000 copies of your book.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they will, which means that the taxpayers will pick up the cost. And I suppose that's something else that'll get people pissed off.
That FEMA will buy 50,000 copies of your book and hand it out to hurricane survivors? Yeah.
Well, the taxpayers are picking up the expense. The people that survived the hurricane are going to be the beneficiaries. Everybody else is putting out and not getting back. But I'd like people, and they'll earmark a portion of the money so these people in the hurricane can know what real suffering is.
Well, so far what you've brought up as an example of suffering is your daughter marrying a greasy Iranian, and you're losing your hair, and...
That is not all that I brought up, Mr. Henry. There's an awful lot more.
1-800-449-8686. Karen, go ahead.
Hello?
Hi, Karen, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I think this guy's a joke. This has got to be some kind of... Nobody's that insane, or he's been hit in the head with lightning too many times.
Mr. Sewell, I want to ask you something. Is this some kind of a broad joke?
Well, if you find the suffering of a lifetime or the suffering of hurricane survivors funny,
I find...
then perhaps it is a joke. I don't find any of it funny.
I find you very funny. I find there's nobody that can be that insensitive, or it's just insane.
I'm 35 years. What did I say? I'm 35 years as a meteorologist. I've seen all the pissing and moaning that I want to see.
I don't think anybody can compare their pubic hairs turning gray to people dying. Like, nobody is that insane.
Wait a minute. You're a woman. You're a female, and it's well known how vain females are. And
not after you have 4 kids, you're not.
And pubic hair turning gray doesn't mean anything to you.
Well, I'd rather my pubes turn gray than have a house fall on my sister. You know what I mean?
I'd rather have a house fall on my sister. And that's just the difference between you and me.
I don't know what rock you crawled out from under, but
35.
You're insane.
What do you mean,
35, yes.
35 years as a meteorologist, and my daughter went against my wishes and became a
Did she leave
Persian.
the country?
No, she's in the United States, so I've got to go over to their...
Is she far from you?
No.
She didn't get far enough away, obviously.
Isn't that? I've interviewed many hurricane survivors, and before they check to see if their dog is safe, they take a look in their underwear to check for guitar string hairs.
I think you're insane.
I'm insane.
And it's a funny show.
Well, you know what? That's really funny.
A funny show?
Yeah, you're hysterical. Nobody is insane.
Maybe not in Canada, but down here we're crazy. We're crazier than a crap house rat.
Crazy like a fox,
All right,
right?
okay.
Yeah, that's it. Crazy like a fox. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Well, Melinda Lee will be on next. And...
Oh, shut up. Listen, Karen, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
Jesus H. You get a new affiliate in Canada, and then all is square.
Oh, shut up. Listen, Karen, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
Jesus H. You get a new affiliate in Canada, and then all is square.
All right, see you later. That's Herb Sewell, and I won't even tell you the publisher of his book. I'd rather you not buy it. Any way the wind blows. Stories of pain and suffering, 35 years in the meteorological business, and he says he'd much rather he'd much rather live through a hurricane, I guess, than have his daughter marry an oily Persian as she did. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendrie Show.
The Phil Hendrie Show. 1-800-449-8686. 2 feet shorter than models.
Haven't done our sports file in a while, but we've got news that a Carolina Panther defensive back by the name of Jared Cooper arrested early Tuesday morning and charged with driving while intoxicated, speeding, driving with a revoked license, and possession of a controlled substance.
Here's Phil Hendrie. 1-800-449-8686.
I got Vernon Dozier with me here on the Phil Hendrie Show. Mr. Dozier is with an organization, with a company, it actually owns the company, AirScan Security Systems. And Mr. Dozier, thanks for joining our program on kind of late notice here, because I wanted to get some idea from you, especially in wake of what happened at Chicago O'Hare Airport, what the security systems, for instance, what AirScan Security Systems is doing in terms of hiring security personnel and trying to make these our airports and our airlines more secure. Okay, I'm sorry, sir, you there? All right, well, we have to reestablish contact there with Mr. Dozier, but AirScan Security System trains and is now training, or has begun training, some 11,000 security personnel to be used if they're hired in some airports. And I believe we have you now, sir?
Yes, Phil.
Tell us about your company and what you're doing.
AirScan AirScan security system is in the process of putting together a security personnel, what we call our AirScan security Delta team. We train them to be observant, to notice the little things. We're also proud to say that AirScan Security Systems is for its 15th year. Now bringing into the workplace our less fortunate citizens, people with mental and physical challenges. We think it's important to address that situation as well as address the situation of security in our airports.
So you'll train these people, and then you will offer them for hire in airports?
We'll offer them for hire in airports. We'll offer them for hire at the airlines. We have a current class of 2001 featuring some of outstanding young people. But keep in mind, again, I think what we do is we combine two areas. We train security people so that our airlines and our airports can be safer. But also, we're very proud of the fact that we are bringing the physically and mentally challenged to the workplace and bringing them into the spotlight of being able to live equally with other people. So we're very proud of that, and I don't think any other security force in the world has brought as many mentally challenged or physically challenged, if you will.
Are these mentally retarded people?
Well, I don't. We don't recognize the term retarded. We recognize challenged. But these are all outstanding young people. Will be part of the security system. I have Bobby Nominelli. Bobby's a graduate of our 2001 class. If you'd like to speak with him,
He's there. What's his name?
Bobby, what'd you say?
Hi.
Hi, Bobby. It's Phil Hendrie.
Hi.
Bobby's with our 2001 class featuring some of the challenged people. Part of our AirScan security. What are you part of, Bobby?
I'm part of AirScan Security Delta Team.
He's with the AirScan.
All right, AirScan Security
Delta Team. Bobby, say, give the Delta whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Okay, let me have the phone.
I'm Bobby.
All right, I got it. He's part of our team, Phil. We utilize certain corporal and aversion techniques. We train our people. They can to security Delta Team to a razor edge of sharpness. And again,
can I ask you a question here? And I don't want to sound.
Go ahead.
I'm glad that you're helping mentally challenged and physically challenged. Is this the right job for them?
I got to tell you, I don't know how to answer a question like that because we don't think they're different at all. We think they're just as good as anybody. In fact, our core of AirScan security system people, even the mentally challenged ones, are as good, if not better. And let me underline that, Phil, as good, if not better, than any security people in the airports today. And
you're saying you could train a core of mentally challenged security people for the airports? They're better than the ones that we have in place?
Absolutely. And utilizing our corporal and aversion technique, we train them to a razor-sharp edge. And let me have the phone, Bobby.
I'm Bobby.
Okay, let me have the phone. He's very, very enthusiastic.
Now, this is the young man who is...
That's correct.
One of the young people. What do you mean by corporal or aversion technique?
Phil, when you're dealing with the mentally challenged or physically challenged, you need to get them on the right path. These are people who need to be kind of slapped into line a little bit. And
Bobby on Delta, me on.
I know. They got to be slapped into line. So what we do is we use a technique whereby we show them things on a conveyor belt, and if they get it right, they get it right. If they don't, we shift down into aversion mode. And Bobby, do you want to look for the plane go boom?
Plane go boom.
Right. What happens is when the plane, if he sees something that he doesn't like, then, all right, I've got a conveyor belt here.
Now, are you in your training area?
We're in a conveyor. Now, Bobby, what do you see on a conveyor belt? You let everybody know.
That's jacket.
That's a jacket.
That's a hairbrush.
Right.
I'm Bobby.
I know you're Bobby. Tell everybody.
That's a jacket.
No, that was the jacket. What's that?
Hairbrush.
Right.
That's a hair dryer.
All right, now you're wrong there. That's a gun. He got that wrong, Phil. So what we do then, okay, you know what?
Uh-oh.
That's right. That's the uh-oh. He knows what the uh-oh is.
What do you mean the uh-oh? So in other words, he missed?
He missed. That was a gun, and he thought it was a hair dryer. So come on, sit down. We now go into what we call our aversion mode, Phil, and we utilize electromagnetic current that we run through part of his body.
Now, wait a second. That's like a...
No, it's aversion, Bobby. Come on.
Uh-oh.
I know, it's the uh-oh part.
Uh-oh.
All right, we got it now? Now, let's see. Okay, I'm just attaching him here.
Uh-oh.
What did you just do?
That's the uh-oh, isn't it?
Uh-oh.
What did you just do?
We attached electromagnetic current to... are you okay, Bobby?
Uh-oh.
No, the uh-oh's all over, okay? Now, let's go ahead and see that on a conveyor belt now. Now, what is that?
That's a gun.
That's right, it's a gun. You see what happens? All you got to do is put a few...
What did you do? Was you said electromagnetic current...
I'm crispy, Bobby.
An electromagnetic current through that boy? What did you do to him?
Hold on, Mr. Hendrie, because a minute ago you were the guy who said you didn't think we ought to be hiring retards, and now you're telling me that I did something wrong? And
I didn't say you shouldn't be hiring the mentally challenged. I'm asking you whether having a job at an airport security station is right for people like that. That's all. You heard the poor kid. He couldn't recognize the difference between a gun and a hairdryer.
But I gave him the aversion technique.
Uh-oh.
What he calls the uh-oh. And
Okay, that's fine.
let me do it one more time because he's very good. Bobby, see the conveyor belt?
I'm Bobby.
I know. And what are you?
I'm Delta Force.
Delta Force, that's right. Look at the thing.
Plane go boom. Plane go boom.
He said plane go boom. And
What is plane go boom?
he saw a bomb, and he was absolutely good for you, Bobby, here. There's a graham cracker with some cream cheese on it. Attaboy.
I find this to be unsettling, Mr. Dozier.
Well, I think when you're dealing with some of these retards, it's scary.
And I find it unsettling that you use the word retard in the same line where you're talking about how egalitarian you are hiring the mentally challenged. Now, I got to give our phone number out here, so hold on. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. AirScan Security System is one of many companies that provides or is attempting to provide more security for our airports.
More cheese.
He wants cheese.
Well, that's fine. You can give him his cheese. I find it to be absolutely cruel that they would subject that boy to some kind of what they call aversion therapy. They ran an electromagnetic current through him because he mistook a gun for a hairdryer. Mr. Dozier, Vernon, I'm not saying that you are to be condemned for hiring the mentally challenged. I'm asking, is it an appropriate job?
And I am repeating what I said to you. We feel the mentally challenged can do any job that anybody else can do. And we also feel that the mentally challenged are completely up to the job of securing our airports much better than the people they've got in there right now. May I remind you, Mr. Hendrie, we had 4 airplanes hijacked in the span of an hour with that group that we got now. And
I'm Bobby.
And Bob, yeah, you are Bobby. Bobby could...
And you're saying Bobby there, who's saying things like plane go boom, is a better security guy than what we have in place right now.
Absolutely.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. The kid is he's a nice boy, but he's obviously being used by this company. And what are they paying them? And when the kid does something good, he gives them a graham cracker with cream cheese on it. Excuse me. 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. This is the Phil Hendrie Show.
Jacket.
That's a jacket, that's right. What else?
That's house.
That's not a house. Now you have to...
Please don't do that. Please don't do that, okay?
Phil, the only way to teach the retarded one...
Bobby poop.
Oh, Jesus, I got to clean up.
What happened?
Hold on. What'd you do? Did you make brown?
Poop.
I'm sorry, Phil. We have to. Would you take him and clean him up, please? Here.
Well, what did you do? You shock him with an electromagnetic current and he crapped in his pants?
Phil, what we're trying to do is give these people something to do other than just stand out in front of a supermarket and go, do you want to buy some flowers, you know?
But handing over the security of our airlines and our airports to a young boy like this who is, how old is he?
He's 23.
23 years old, and is he autistic? What is he?
I don't know. He just talks. Bobby, what? Bobby, okay? Uh-oh. No, we're not going to give you uh-oh. He's retarded. I don't know what's wrong with him, but I think we can do a lot. Giving these young people a chance to live their lives without wearing helmets. I got to tell you, Phil, all of my employees are helmet-free.
That may be fine, sir, but I don't know that that's the way to go with these poor kids. Here is Lisa on the Phil Hendrie Show. Lisa, go ahead.
Yes, I am a mother of an autistic child myself and a special education teacher.
Uh-oh.
And I personally find what you do detestable. I guess I agree.
Well, ma'am, we're
that
giving them a livelihood. We're giving
you
them.
Need to. Yes, I agree that they need to be able to have a chance to be able to become functional citizens, just like you and I. But they do not need to be in the airports, and the way that you are treating them is abuse.
What is this? I don't like the fact that...
You know what I find, if I could interrupt, Phil, you know what I find interesting? You members of the media, you want all this liberal stuff. Let's get all of the mentally challenged people in the workplace. But then what do? You turn around and criticize me. Okay?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not... What I'm doing is telling you that you are sitting here abusing these children. I have a child who's autistic, and let me tell you... If you even attempted to treat my son that way, you would be in jail behind bars.
Wouldn't you be proud to have your son? How old is your son?
My son is 3 years old.
Wouldn't you be proud to have him manning the security station at one of our major
airports? If I thought that he could do that and be successful at it, yes, maybe.
No.
But I would not allow you to treat him that way and shock him or whatever the heck you're doing to him.
Lisa, Bobby is on the conveyor belt right now. Bobby, tell Lisa. This is Lisa.
Hi.
Lisa, can you hear Bobby?
I can hear him just fine.
Hi.
Hello.
All right, now, Bobby, tell us what you see on the conveyor belt.
That's a sweater. A jacket.
That's right.
Briefcase. Plain go boom. Plain go boom.
All right, now, he just said plain go boom because he saw a gun. And although it isn't really a gun, it's a comb. He's getting better. But I dare you...
Wait. He just said plain go boom, and it's not a bomb, and it's not a gun, it's a comb?
That's right. And I have to...
Well, you're not going to give that kid the
I got to. Just,
Why did
Can you please stop abusing that child?
I'm not. I'm making him understand.
No, what you're doing is abuse. What you're doing is degrading his person.
Pants go brown.
That's right. Your pants went brown.
What you're doing is degrading his person. How would you feel if someone hooked you up to a machine and shocked you every time that you got something wrong?
But what else is this kid going to do with his life? Sell flowers?
That kid could do a lot with his life if someone like you wasn't sitting there ruining his self-esteem.
Lisa, Bobby could spend the rest of his life sweeping up at McDonald's, scaring children.
And you know what? I would be a lot happier with him doing that than what you're doing to him right now.
Bobby, quit playing with the conveyor belt, okay?
Plain go boom.
No, the plane's not going to go boom.
I would be much happier seeing my son working at McDonald's asking someone, do you want fries with that, than seeing him hooked up to a conveyor belt and being shot. There is no way. I don't even know how the parents of this child, Bobby, can allow you to do this.
How old is Bobby? 23?
I'm Bobby.
He's 23, yeah. And he turn off the conveyor belt. Give me the phone, Bob.
Well, what I would say then, Vernon, you all right?
Just trying to get the phone away from him.
What I would say primarily is that I can't hear.
Give me the phone.
I'm Bobby.
I know you're Bobby.
How can you have this guy checking stuff at an airport when he won't give you the phone back? You know what I'm saying?
Bobby wants cheese.
Here's some cream cheese, goddamn. I would turn this off.
And the fact that you would have the nerve to even call that boy a retard, to me, is extremely offensive, because that child is not a retard. And you need to look at what you're doing.
The hell is going on? What's going on?
This is because
He wrapped the phone cord around my throat.
and you want him working in an airport.
You want him working in an airport.
What?
You want him...
I think there's nothing wrong with it.
Hello? This is ridiculous. Get the phone away from the kid, okay?
All right, now look. Bobby,
You want him working in an airport. Do you honestly trust your security and the security of our nation to a boy who would wrap a phone cord around your own neck?
Say that again.
What are you doing?
I got to get the cord off.
This is insane.
Bobby dirty now.
Oh, clean him up, will you, Bobby? Lisa, thank you for your call. Go clean the kid up, okay?
Bobby, take the cord off, will you? Bobby, take the cord off the neck.
Bobby, go brown.
All right. Mr. Dozier,
What?
are you okay?
Well, if it were not for me, he'd be mopping up his own drool at McDonald's.
I'm now gonna end the conversation, okay?
Don't forget, AirScan security systems, we are the best.
Hey, go boom.
That's another winning interview that you just got me there, Mike. Plain go boom. And that guy claims that our airline security would be in much better hands with his company hiring mentally challenged people than with most of the security in place right now. I don't know. Maybe he's right. 1-800-449-8686 is the number here on the Phil Hendrie Show. By the way, today's Phil Hendrie Polls America question is as follows. Which team can baseball flush right now without missing a beat? Which team can baseball flush right now without missing a beat? Is it Kansas City, Montreal, Minnesota, Florida, Tampa Bay, Seattle, San Diego, or Anaheim? And one of the more exciting pieces of news that I heard today was that baseball was thinking about contracting, that is, getting rid of a couple of teams. That hasn't happened in my lifetime, and that's good. That can only be good. I may get back to being a baseball fan. So which team can baseball flush right now without missing a beat? Is it Kansas City, Montreal, Minnesota, Florida, Tampa Bay, Seattle, San Diego, or Anaheim? I vote for Montreal since that just seems to be the obvious vote, but let's see what everybody else voted for in the Phil Hendrie Polls America question. Yep, everybody, 43% Montreal, followed by 20% Anaheim, followed by 14% Tampa Bay, 10% Florida, and then 6% the Royals, and then Minnesota and Seattle. Nobody wants to see anybody get rid of them. You could send Anaheim the way of the old Flusheroo, wouldn't matter to me. Florida Marlins, even though the Marlins won a World Series, baseball is so much better off without that ball club that it doesn't even begin to tell the story. So there you are. You can go to philhendrieshow.com. That's philhendrieshow.com and vote on our online poll. And don't forget to get your backstage pass.
Oh, my God. This is fucking frustrating, dude. This is so fucking frustrating. Oh, my God. This guy's trying to add me on Skype, and he can't for some reason add me. BitCrunch. Oh, wow, that's really fucking tough. He said he's not seeing me. You're not showing up. This guy has no idea what he's fucking doing. You know, I'll install Skype on my other fucking computer right now, dude. And I'll find myself right now. I'm gonna do it. Let's see, Skype. Skype install. I'm gonna put it on my Windows 7 machine. I can't fucking believe that he can't find me. That's such bullshit. You can install it right now. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna share my fucking screen. Installing on my second, this is my second computer right here. Windows 7, as you can see, Windows 7. And this is Windows 10. So my account right here. Oh, there it is. I think he's here now.